Welcome to another episode of Sports Vibe. I'm your host, Arnav Sarkar, here with my co-host, Andrew Rice. Um, another busy week of football. We are making our way through the NFL playoffs and the college football championship game recap also in this episode. So yeah, I mean, and we're almost at that time of year now. I mean, the Super Bowl's like 2 weeks away. Conference championships are this weekend. Just a lot of good stuff. The divisional weekend was, largely like very entertaining. I guess with one exception, but yeah. I mean, I first wanted to start with the college football playoff, the national championship game between Indiana and Miami. And let's just say this game delivered. I mean, I wasn't too sure how it was going to go, with Indiana being so dominant. But Miami definitely proved why they won 3 games in this playoff, and why they were a very legit team. So I like the way that they phrased it at the end. The U is back, but the Hoosiers are here, or whatever they said. Like that is very true. I mean, Miami like wins games by dominating in the trenches, and even though they didn't win this game, I mean they were very much in it because they played well in the trenches. Especially they were limiting. They put a lot of pressure on Mendoza, which a lot of other teams could not do. Their playmakers went off. Fletcher and Malachi Tony both had over 100 yards. Fletcher had a long touchdown. Carson Beck, I guess, overall had a pretty good game, but he made some mistakes too. So yeah, he threw like the game losing interception. He kind of just threw a meatball like downfield, and Indiana read that perfectly. But yeah, I
Well,
mean,
to be fair, the corner on the play, he knew he had safety help coming over. That allowed him to
yeah,
come
he
up and
came
make the
right.
play.
Yeah,
He knew that the safety was drifting over to his side, so that allowed him to be able to play more freely, knowing that okay, if I don't make this interception, he's gonna at least get tackled, or at
right.
least there's somebody behind me to bat the ball down or whatever. It was I understand that it was not a great pass from Carson Beck, but you know it also like
Yeah, the corner definitely made the play because he knew he had help on that. Safety was already on that side of the ball, so he came in like to make that interception like a ball hawk. Not
yeah.
fearing like what if he gets beat because there was already help behind him. So yeah, I mean like that definitely helped too. The corner made a good play. The ball also was just underthrown and intercepted, which I feel like I don't know. Carson Beck's a bit of like a turnover machine in like these big moments. Even this season against uh, like when they lost to Louisville, I think he threw like 4 interceptions and something like that. Like I don't know, he's always kind of been like known for that, but he definitely cleaned it up quite a bit. Like had a pretty good postseason. He had a clutch moment against Ole Miss, and yeah, I mean there was a real chance that Miami won the game, which like at the end, which I guess people didn't really think would be the case, but it started kind of boring-ish. It was like 10-0 Miami or Indiana, and both teams kind of struggle score. And then third quarter, Miami opened up with a
Well,
touchdown, and
well,
then
first of all,
Indiana,
Miami looked like
yeah,
you couldn't get anything going. Indiana looked like it was like trudging through the surf a little bit, but
right,
Miami looked like you couldn't get
yeah,
anything
they looked
going.
like they were like stuck in the mud, and
They
Indiana
had
was kind of
one
just.
they had one drive where they missed the field goal, but other than that, they really struggled to move down the field.
They did, and Indiana also kind of did to an extent, but they were able to do it like more so successfully than Miami, so that's why they got off to the lead. And but I guess the floodgates kind of opened up in the third quarter. Miami scored. Indiana went up by 10 with the punt block touchdown, which I know you were calling for at our watch party the whole game that they should do that because they had them kind of pinned back there deep, and they brought over that extra pressure to I feel like Miami was kind of trying to do punt safe, but not like 100%. So they weren't really like fully committed to that. So Indiana kind of broke through and scored a touchdown. The old Rutgers way of blocking a punt, which is I guess always nice to see. But even then, Miami rallied back. They scored. Indiana won because they made all the big plays. They had the interception. Fernando Mendoza on fourth down with the 12-yard rush where he just would not be denied. He just, dove forward into the end zone, spun off a tackle. Really
That
showed
that
why.
moment's going to be hung in the man cave of every Indiana fan
Yeah, that
until the
picture
end
of
of
him
time.
like outstretched diving into the end zone. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like, it's like Indiana's so dominant that like they don't have to rely on these heroics to win typically. In the few cases that they do, have to rely on them. Like Indiana delivers, whether it's like Mendoza finding Omar Cooper in the end zone against Penn State, or how they beat Iowa, or how they beat Oregon the first time. Like whenever it's been like a close game, Indiana's delivered. And Mendoza, even though the offense was a bit quieter today for the Hoosiers, I mean Charlie Becker making incredible catches. I don't know like what is up with that guy. Like I mean every time he makes the most ridiculous catches like I've ever seen, contested. I mean, like it's like you never heard of this guy, and he's making like NFL level catches. It's just like I don't think he's like dropped one of them either. Like I mean, he's just like a big, like in definition of a big play threat. And then Mendoza rushing for the touchdown, getting the pick. So I mean, yeah, I mean between like Mendoza's throws and his rushing touchdown and the interception, like Indiana, they won the game because they made like all those big plays that Miami didn't, and of course the punt block on top of that too. So I mean, yeah, that pretty much sums it up why they won the game. But it's I mean it's really remarkable, the way that they played in this game, and even against Ohio State. I think that was the time where I think that was the closest to where Indiana was really on the ropes. I guess you could also say Penn State, because Penn State was like about to win the game. So but again, like even in those moments, Indiana, like Mendoza steps up. They're not afraid of the moment. They're not afraid to go for it on fourth down. They're not afraid to like make the big plays at the appropriate time, or at least take the chances. And I feel like that's something that more teams need to. Like Ohio State played scared. They tried to kick a field goal and they missed the field goal, and they lost the game, right? So like things like Miami didn't play scared. They played a pretty good game. But I think that's the reason why Indiana is champions, because first of all, they're very dominant on both sides of the line. I mean, their pass rush is insane. Their playmakers are very good, but they also like they step up in these big moments, and that separates, I guess, like the great teams from the championship level, like title teams, because they're willing to do what the other teams aren't, and are willing and able to do, I guess, what even the other good teams aren't able to do. And that, I guess, that separates, when the talent levels approximately equal, that's what really separates the winner from the losers. Can you make those big plays at the appropriate time? And that's exactly what Indiana did.
Yeah, and first of all, Indiana, you gotta give hats off to Kurt Signetti, because I bet you he feels like a little bit, that one clip of Randy Marsh with the wheelbarrow. We're not gonna get too descriptive on that one, but I bet you that's what he feels like walking around Bloomington right now.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, and I ragged on Miami throughout almost all the college football playoffs, so I will give like hats off to Miami. Like, you know, everybody thought like, okay, they're done now. They're done now. They're
Right.
done now. They
Yeah.
just keep
They won
finding ways
one.
to keep
Yeah.
going. And they pushed Indiana to the brink after everybody predicted that well, not everybody, but people were
Indiana's
kind of
gonna walk them out
speculating
of the
like
building.
how close is this game really gonna be? You
Right?
know?
Like, I
But
was,
they
like, worried even though I was rooting for Indiana. I was like, "Oh, man, like, this is gonna be another blowout, and, like, it's gonna be boring to watch, and, like, like, that's not gonna be fun." But no, they played a really good game. They were in it. Not only were they in it, they had a real chance to win it, and,
yeah.
they just fell short at the end, honestly, with the
They're in it
interception.
with
But,
a real chance to win it. I like that one. I like
yeah,
that.
they were in it with a real chance to, even after the punt block touchdown, everything, like, they were still in it. And, like that's all you can ask for, right? Like you hold them to 6, and and you get the ball back, and mistakes that happen in the past, or whatever. I mean, yeah, obviously those things don't
It
help, but like
happens, it
you have a
happens.
chance. Yeah, like like those things don't help. Like obviously missed field goals, but punt blocks. But you have a chance down 6 with the football, and like you have 142, and I mean, well, like what more could you ask for, right? Like like chances, if that game was played like again, like maybe they win. Like that's all you could really ask for in that moment. And Miami was right there with them, because they played, they went strike for strike with Indiana. They're able to score with them. They're able to get stops. So yeah, Miami, a very legit football team. Yeah, I was really surprised too. Like they were kind of the last team in this. I mean, both of these two teams were on the opposite sides of the. Indiana was the number one, undisputed. They took down Ohio State, who was number one like all season before that. And then Miami kind of sneaking in the back end of the bracket. People didn't even know if they were going to get in, because I mean, there's all this controversy with Notre Dame and Alabama, and it was like which two are going to get in and which ones are not.
Well,
And
Miami deserved
Miami,
to be there because they beat
yeah,
Notre
no,
Dame. It was
100%.
Alabama that didn't deserve to be there.
100%. Yeah, but like people didn't know whether they were gonna just put Alabama and Notre Dame in, or leave Alabama out, or like what, like leave
No, you're
Miami
right,
out.
and
I think a lot of people thought Miami would still be left out because for a while they were ignoring the head-to-head, and last minute they decide, oh, we're gonna leave Notre Dame out, which I mean, I think Notre Dame fans also had the right to be upset with the way that process played out because they thought they were in, they were out. Miami fans, obviously, I think they definitely deserve to be in. Head-to-head definitely matters. So it just, I don't know, it's a really messy process, but I think I mean, this shows that they got it right. And yeah, I mean, Miami is just, I mean, wow, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think both Indiana and Miami, they showed that you built football, winning football teams are built from the trenches outward. And but at the same time they also have like the playmakers, like on the outside too, that can deliver. So I mean, I think it's the whole thing. But I mean, both of these teams are very, very physical, very dominant. I mean, they both had some good quarterbacks and good playmakers as well. And yeah, I mean, that's you know what I mean, like that's pretty much what, like, that's what works in this day and age. And Indiana did a masterful job of using the portal. I mean, Miami as well. I mean, they really put it together. Like, I just, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I guess, like, this kind of brings up a bigger question of, college football. What does it say about, like, the way college football is right now? Like, can non-traditional powers can win, non-powers in general can win. Indiana, I mean, can go from worst to first. Obviously, as Rutgers fans, we talked about, how this could, it could serve as inspiration for programs like us and so many others. And I mean, like, is it just like a NIL or money thing, or is it kind of just like, does it open the door for other programs to win as long as, as long as they do it the right way? Like, what does this mean? Because obviously, seeing Indiana and Miami in the championship after so many years of the same five teams in the playoff, I mean, obviously it changes the big picture of things.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, but Miami would like deserve to be there, you know? So it's not even that it like, like, oh yeah, the committee got it right. Yeah, they got it right. They won the head to head. That's not even the argument. The
Right.
argument was never, in my opinion, was never does Miami deserve to be there? They do. You
It
know?
was,
Two
will they be
losses,
there?
two losses, and they had the head to head with one of the other teams that they were rumored to get in with.
Right, like, that
The
makes it simple. Like,
problem
I don't know why it got so complicated,
the
honestly, but
problem
yeah,
was the problem was that Alabama was not punished for having three
for
losses.
losing 3, yeah, and losing in
You
the
should be
conference
punished
championship game
for
by
having three
21,
losses. And
right?
like
Yeah.
the Georgia loss we can excuse. I believe they dropped to Vanderbilt too. No. Georgia
That was
and
last offseason.
uh
Georgia and somebody
Tennessee.
else.
Yeah.
Um, Something like that. They had
Hold
2,
on.
Oklahoma and,
Oh, Oklahoma, that's who it was, right?
yeah,
But
and yeah,
Oklahoma earned their spot in the playoff. Georgia earned their spot in the playoff. You
right.
lost to 5-7 Florida State. You have
Oh,
no
right,
business
that's what
being
it
in the
was, yeah.
playoffs.
Florida State and, Oklahoma later on.
Florida State, Oklahoma, Georgia.
Georgia,
Those are
right?
your
Yeah.
two losses.
Yeah. I mean, I guess to be fair, they did go on and beat Oklahoma, but like,
No, no, no.
that
I
doesn't
don't
change like
care.
retroactively, like,
I
them
like
getting it.
First of all, I don't care. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Yeah.
I do not care. Three losses and you're out. I don't care if you beat the number one, the number two, the number three team throughout the season. If you have three losses, you should not be in. Bar none. I don't care what your name is. I don't care what school you represent. I don't care who you beat. Three losses,
Yeah.
you're done. That's
I
it.
mean, yeah, I don't know. I think it has to do with context. Like, I think if the 3 losses were to, like, I don't know, like Georgia, like, I don't know, who are like 3 really good teams? Like, if they played like Ohio State in the
Okay,
non-conference,
if you lost to Georgia, Ohio State, and Indiana, for example,
yeah, or
then
something like that.
maybe we
But
can
like,
flex
yeah, and they're
your
like close losses, and everywhere else like they dominated, like things like that. Or I was even okay with them with 2 losses, but like, you know what I mean? Like, but
two
like
losses.
losing, yeah,
I
2
could
losses a
see,
lot of
but
2.
three losses with
But
a loss
3,
to
and
a
especially the way that they played in the conference championship game was like, to me that was like the real kicker. Like,
well
I
in
mean,
their
it
losses
wasn't even
besides that in their losses besides that Oklahoma loss, they really got
yeah,
walked out of the
Florida State
building.
too.
You got
That's true.
drubbed by Florida State.
Yeah,
5-7
who was
Florida
like no
State beat
right. He
you.
started good
They
and
beat you
finished
pretty
really
good.
bad.
You
Yeah, I
know,
don't know.
like
Florida State had a weird year. Like it's like after Alabama and their non-conference, they just went south. But yeah. Anyway, I mean, um,
you know,
yeah, I
like
kind of
come
lost.
on.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of lost track of what we were like. Yeah, I mean, and I guess the point is Miami should have gotten in. Honestly, Miami and Notre Dame should have gotten in. I think that would have been
Well,
the right thing.
my argument is that Miami getting in was not the debate. Miami should have been there. They earned their spot. The
Right.
debate was Alabama versus Notre Dame, and the committee made the wrong decision.
Yeah, but it was just like putting Miami and Notre Dame against each other, like, I think was unfair to both teams in this process because I mean, I think the real team that shouldn't have gotten in was Alabama. And, we could have
Yeah,
solved that problem very easily with putting Notre Dame and Miami in. And obviously in that case, if you want to flip the order, you could, or I mean, Miami should have been ahead of Notre Dame just because of the head to head, but both I think should have gotten in. And yeah, if Notre Dame made a run, they made a run. If they didn't, they didn't. Like, that's how sports works. But I don't know. This playoff like seeding thing, whatever. It just got really messy. But I'm glad we were rewarded with a really good playoff. And yeah, Miami deserved to be there, but Indiana, the Hoosiers are officially
who, who,
Hoo-
who,
Hoo-
Hoosiers,
Hoosiers are officially world champions. Or at least college football playoff champions. Yeah, from the worst to the first.
and really, hats off to Mendoza too. Like, it really couldn't happen to like you just listen to his interviews, and you're like,
Oh yeah.
you're very happy that this guy won. You know,
Yeah, I mean, what a down to earth, like I mean, like humble, respectful, hardworking, like young man. I mean, like he really
yeah,
can't do anything wrong. Like just the way he talks, like I mean, he has so much like I mean, respect, humility, gratitude, like appreciation. Like it really could not happen to a better person. And like and you see like the way he plays too. I mean, he puts his body on the line. He makes all the throws. Yeah, I mean, he definitely deserves to win. Like both because he's a really good player and a good person, and really happy to see that for him as well. And yeah, it really couldn't happen to a better guy. I mean, like we just his personality is just like refreshing in this day and age. And yeah,
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like there's no arrogance, there's no hint of whatever, and he really like represents like like I guess what college athletes should look up to, like what people should look up to, and a role model. And like this is how you conduct yourself when you're a quarterback, a Heisman winner, a football player. Like these are you're right, those are like qualities that you can admire in someone. And yeah, no, really happy for him. And he's I mean he's just a gem of a person. So yeah, I mean, I guess yeah. I mean, other than that, I mean, Indiana, I guess now will be the hunted instead of the hunty. I mean, there's no more surprises. There's no more. Oh, it's Indiana. There's going to be no more. Like whatever.
no more
They're going to be.
mercy.
Yeah, nobody's gonna like have any mercy for them. Everybody's nobody's gonna say, oh well, it's Indiana and they're whatever. Everybody's gonna give them their best shot and then some. Ohio State's gonna want it back. Like what I mean. There's no more like yeah, no more time to relax, I guess, for the Hoosiers. They're going to be the top dogs now. And yeah, I mean, in terms of like, yeah, I mean, in terms of non-traditional powers in the ACC, I mean, in this day and age of college football, like anyone can really win as long as you do have the money, have the NIL. You can build a team the right way. You have good coaching, like all those things really matter. It's not, you know what I mean? It's a new day and age. But I guess like, what does this say about like the ACC? Because I feel like for a while, like they were as a conference like down and out, kind of just counted out. And their conference champion was Duke, who was like really no good. But Miami was like the team that was kind of like, you know what I mean? Like they're in the ACC and they didn't win the conference championship. They're kind of like dismissed, like oh they're not even gonna make the playoff, and then they come in and smoke. Is Miami like kind of a one off in the ACC, or does it give more
Yeah, I
to the
wouldn't buy
ACC?
I wouldn't buy like, oh yeah, Miami did really well. I don't think the ACC is like magically going to turn things around. Like, yeah, good for them that Miami did very well. It's very good
Right.
for that conference in general. But you know, your top who are your top dogs in the ACC traditionally? Florida State,
Clemson.
5-7, Clemson, 6-6, I think,
I think
and
yeah.
then
I think
or
six or
seven and
seven after
six.
the bowl loss. Yeah. I want to say
Yes,
it's something like that. Yeah, they might have won 7-5 and 7-6 or something like that. Yeah,
whatever, not good at least, right?
right. Florida State,
Who are
Clemson.
your, like, just think about it. Who are your traditional powers? Florida State, not good. Clemson, not good. Miami had a good year. But
Really good.
then, you factor in like your SMUs, they didn't do too well. Boston College and
Oh,
and Stanford are considered
no,
some of the
no.
worst teams in power power four
Virginia Tech,
football.
yeah, like they didn't do
Um,
that great. Like, yeah, a lot of these teams, like Georgia Tech, kind
Syracuse
of
is like you
flamed out
have
as
three
well. They,
teams. You have three teams that are considered among the worst in Power Four football.
yeah,
In
BC,
comparison, the
Hughes,
Big Ten has
Liverpool.
one. You know,
Right,
the
Purdue,
Big
yeah,
Ten has one, Purdue,
right.
and then in the SEC they have one, which is Kentucky. I
Kentucky,
think
or yeah,
because I
maybe
think Kentucky went I
like
don't
four
know.
and eight or something. Like they weren't very good.
Well, oh, okay. Well, even 4-8 doesn't make me think that you're the worst in Power Four. Maybe the
Yeah,
SEC
that's
doesn't have
true.
that, but
Yeah, they have
anyway.
like yeah, even their bottom feeders are kind of like competitive. Weirdly, like Arkansas. Oh, they had a horrible year, but they lost a lot of one score games. Yeah,
But you get
and
my
versus the
argument
Senior
though.
Bowl
Like
kind of a backdoor. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. Like ACC, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's
like
just like if
Notre
yeah,
Dame belted Syracuse like
right, like
70 to like
to
3 or
oblivion.
something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
that's true. Yeah,
And then
Syracuse, BC,
Syracuse went in, and then Syracuse went in and like blew out Boston College, right?
yeah. Well, BC was like really pretty horrible. No, I think Boston College might have gotten the win. Over Syracuse, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was their second win of the year.
But it's like bottom feeders like feasting on each other. You don't
Yeah,
understand.
those
Like
two in Stanford.
and
Yeah,
then on top of that, your conference champion is 7-5. Like, no, like come on.
yeah. It's just
Like
yeah, it wasn't really
The ACC is not back.
right.
The ACC is
Virginia
not
had a
back.
good year, I guess. That's probably the one team that
But
yeah,
the ACC is not back.
right.
However, with Miami making the college football playoff and going as far as they did, the ACC is no longer in panic
Ancient.
mode where we
Yeah,
could blow up at any second, in my opinion. You know?
yeah, yeah. But it's just, like when you do these conference breakdowns, like I don't know. It looks good. It looks good for
Well, they
them, I
might have
guess.
moved above the Big 12. That could be an argument. You
Yeah,
know?
I guess. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like you would be like, oh, it's the ACC versus the Big Ten, and they're not going to be able to compete in the trenches. Like all those like arguments that people would make, like they're not a real contender. Well, they just show that they absolutely are. I mean, they beat Ohio State by bullying them in the trenches. They,
I
you know
think
what I
there's
mean.
very clear tiers in college football. Right now, like the Big Ten's on top. The
Yeah,
SEC is right below. Below
right.
the SEC is the ACC, and then below
Yeah,
the ACC is the Big 12.
that's
You
interesting. It's
know?
an interesting way to look at it. Yeah, no, I think you're right. And I saw Feinbaum like actually like like gave credit to Indiana and the Big Ten said that they're
Wow.
the best conference in college football, which is nice after three
Character
natties.
development for him, right?
Right, yeah. He was like, everything I said was wrong about Indiana, and they built the team. They really built a good team and all that good stuff. So, yeah, no, I mean Indiana. We'll see if they're. I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be like we'll see if they're back. Like now, like um, um, we'll see if they're back. I mean, they're bringing in Josh Hoover next year at quarterback. So I mean that's going to be an interesting experiment. They're bringing in running back Turbo Richard from Boston College, receiver Nick Marsh. So, they'll be very dominant. It'll be interesting to see who they get in the portal and how they can kind of keep this going because I mean, like I said, now they're going to be the top dogs. They're no longer the hunted, but they're no longer the hunties, but they're going to be the hunted. Kind of changes the dynamics of college football. So yeah, I mean, Ohio State, versus them is already set for like a Big Ten rematch, and
Hmm.
yeah, that's exciting at Indiana, I believe, next season. So that should be a lot of fun. I mean, like but yeah, it's interesting to see how good Indiana is. Where now they're going to be like the favorites and I'm so used to Indiana like losing to Rutgers, losing to like every team, and like just being like a doormat for like these big programs, and to just kind of like an easy week. It's like now, like it's like a
We're still
whole
gonna beat them when they come to Piscataway.
probably
Trust.
yeah, it's a whole different ball game. But yeah, now I was seeing their schedule for 26. Like it's funny because both Indiana and Rutgers have Howard like on the schedule, like in back-to-back weeks. So they're gonna go to like Bloomington and like get shell shocked, and then they'll come here and they'll still probably lose by like a bit, but it'll probably feel like a different and then they'll play it. Then we'll play them. We'll host them, and we have like the worst like non-conference. We have like UMass, BC, and Howard, and then we have like Indiana in the Big Ten schedule, and like Michigan, like so yeah, it's gonna be like it's gonna be funny when we kind of go from one extreme to the other in a matter of weeks. But yeah, anyway, I mean, I can't wait for when next season I guess comes through. But we'll be playing the defending champions on our home turf next season, which is gonna be a lot of fun. For sure, yeah. So I mean, Rutgers.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, we will.
yeah, it should be fun. I mean, we have some winnable games in there for sure in the Big Ten schedule too. We have like Maryland, Northwestern, Michigan State. So like we have there's definitely chances for bowling and stuff like that. I feel
Wisconsin.
like Wisconsin's not, yeah, they don't look too great either. So I mean, those four games probably are winnables, but
Who knows what Nebraska's going to be?
yeah, right. Yeah,
Who
who
knows
knows what
what Nebraska's going to be?
yeah, who knows what Nebraska is gonna look like. But yeah, I mean UMass, BC, Howard, yeah, at Maryland or at Northwestern. Um, those two could be one. I mean, at Wisconsin, who knows what Nebraska's gonna look like. Michigan State, the USC is they're usually a pretty good team. Michigan, Indiana, at Penn State. We'll see how they look next year too. So definitely a good chance. But I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting schedule quirk that Indiana, they're playing Indiana at Indiana, and then Howard, and then they're playing at Rutgers like the following week. So and then we play host Indiana too. So it's just like it's gonna be like what I mean. Howard's gonna get rocked, then they're gonna come here, kind of get rocked, and then we're probably gonna get rocked by the Hoosiers too. To be like completely honest with you, so yeah. Anyway, I mean it's like the levels of things, but no, I mean it's all it's all great because I mean Indiana's a champion. It was just really cool seeing all the videos of everyone on campus and like just having a good time. And I mean like the Hoosiers, and I mean yeah, just doing the chants, and it's really unbelievable. But with that being said, I mean we can move on I guess to the NFL
Yeah, I was
divisional.
going to say we're a little bit deep into our own side
I
tangent
know
here.
we're kind of like reminiscing over this championship run like a little bit,
Yeah,
and
we are
talking
reminiscing over
Rutgers.
Indiana's championship.
Right? I don't know. I just really like them. Like it was, yeah, we kind of just went deep into conversation on all of that and what it means for the Scarlet Knights next year. So, that is what it's about, I guess. But in terms of the NFL playoffs, I mean, that was quite the weekend as well. I mean, we could start with the first game, Broncos versus Bills. Yeah, the Broncos getting a kind of like a Pyrrhic victory in overtime. But I mean, first of all, I mean, Josh Allen, like, I felt really bad in the press conference. He was crying, but he really didn't have the best game. I mean, he had 2 fumbles, 2 picks. Um, the fumble backwards before the half was just a disastrous decision. I don't know like what exactly they were thinking, but cost them
I
three
just don't
points
think he held
there.
on to the ball right. I don't think he was
No,
thinking anything. I just didn't
yeah,
think he
but he
held on
just
to the
tossed. I
ball
think
right.
they're just trying to make something happen, like desperately, but that was just not like I don't know.
I would argue, I don't even know if he was necessarily trying to make anything happen because he never tucked the ball in properly. He always had
Yeah,
it like that. And I
that's
was like,
true.
oh, what are you
Yeah,
doing? You know?
I don't know. It was just really bad ball. And then again, the second half, like I mean, then Denver comes in, gets the strip fumble, and then they go up 27 or 23-10, I believe, and then but then the Bills come back and they take they take the lead 24-23, eventually 27-23. And then Denver answers, and then Matt Prater pushes it to overtime for the Bills. He was the former Denver kicker. So just a lot of like crazy stuff going on in this game. And then yeah, I mean, and after that, I mean, the finish of it was even crazier because a lot of controversial calls quite like at the end that went against Buffalo. First of all, the interception. That was in
That's not
that
controversial.
wasn't really controversial because he that kind of like the snatch interception, I want to call it, because it was like Buffalo player caught it, Denver player ripped it out, but he never really had control. Like by the time like the Denver player ended up with possession, like that's who really had control. So I didn't really see that to be the wrong call. Like I know some people are arguing it, but like he clearly like snatched out before the other guy even got possession on the ground. So like that
If he
went to
had
the
possession, he wouldn't have gotten ripped out. You know? That's my
Yeah, right.
opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's if you had it for like 3 seconds and then the other guy that would be too late. But you know what I mean. Like as he's catching it, you rip it out. Like that's a clear takeaway. The PI calls, that was where I was like, they're both kind of like soft to me. Like I could see why they were made, but it just I don't know. Like it just they didn't really look like especially the first one. I didn't really think that one was necessarily PI. The second one, I mean, I could see why it was made. It was like it's like ticky tack, but like having two back to back ones that were neither of them were like really that like convincing, and then having Buffalo or Denver get set up where they were, I don't know. I was just like you know what I mean. It was kind of like a little bit
I
questionable.
didn't think the PI calls were that bad. I
They
didn't think
weren't
they
like
were like
horrible. Like I could see
egregious.
like why they were made, but it felt like off. I guess if you know what I mean. Like
To be fair, like if I was a Bills fan, right, I would be losing my mind over those calls. But as a
yeah,
neutral
100%.
observer, I'm like in the mindset where I can see where you're coming from. I don't necessarily think you're right or think you're wrong. I think you just
Yeah, like, I don't know. It was just like they were like touched, but like they
because
weren't really like interfered with.
the penalty was there, right?
Yeah,
The
it
penalty
was
was
there.
there.
It was just like a soft call, I guess, and they kind of let them play for most of the game, and then seeing,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean. It's
Although
like the
to be
Eagles
fair,
Chiefs in the Super Bowl, like that.
cycling
Although that
back,
was a
no,
more clear, that one was more clear of a hold because I mean, there's a jersey tug, but you know what I mean. That was also kind of like, is that really going to decide the Super Bowl? Where it was like, it's kind of like that feeling, like I guess,
but to
like.
be fair, you want to talk about letting them play. Just to quickly go back to Miami, Indiana, they let them play in
Oh
that
yeah.
game. That didn't happen against the Bills. The Bills. They were calling the Bills, the Broncos. They were calling a lot, but Miami, Indiana, they weren't
No,
calling
yeah, they
anything.
didn't really call much of anything actually, but yeah, no, I don't know. For the Bills, just brutal. I mean, it's just like
I
when
mean,
are they gonna?
let's be 100% honest with ourselves here. If you have 5 turnovers, you
You
don't
don't
deserve to
deserve to
win.
win the game. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I really do. And that's the thing. Like against the Chiefs, all these years, like the Bills were like right there. Like the Chiefs were just better. Especially offensively, or they had the ball last. You know what I mean? But this time, like, I mean, Buffalo really played themselves out of the game, and Josh Allen knew it. Like he knew it. Like he knew
They
that
played themselves out of the game, but they also played themselves into the
they
game.
did by with
But
the comeback
here's
and
the thing:
everything.
if they don't take the negative steps by playing themselves out of the game,
They
they
win.
likely handled the Broncos. You know, not handily, but they likely just handled the Broncos and move on to the AFC Championship game.
I
But
know, yeah, because the 3 points before the half, the other one, the other interception downfield, the interception overtime, like I mean, like it's just like it's just too much, like, and I mean, now we like now we get over to the Denver side of it, and we find out that Bo Nix like tears his ACL like right after the game, and now you're thinking, oh my god, like like there goes their chances too, like it's just I don't know, it's really
I
brutal,
think it's
like,
Jarrett Stidham time. No,
yeah, I mean,
I think it's Jarrett Stidham time.
yeah, I mean, I think they'll be all right. I'm just kidding. I don't know. That's just it's heartbreaking. They're not going to be all right. And that guy hasn't played like in like 2 years. Like, and I don't think he was very good when he did play. And
And also,
yeah,
doesn't who do they have coming up? I mean, to be
I think
fair,
Brennan Benvenucci, I think on the
no, to be
practice squad,
fair,
right?
you know, New England hasn't had great quarterback play either. You know,
I guess.
like for all the Drake May posts that I've seen,
Yeah, Drake
like in the
May.
playoffs, Drake May has been passable, but nothing stellar.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. We'll talk about whether we think they have a chance in a bit, but I wanted to get through the rest of these divisional games first. But yeah, I mean, moving on to the next one. I mean, this one was Seahawks demolishing the Niners 41-6. This wasn't even a game. I mean, right from the first kickoff return touchdown by Rashid Shaheed, definitely a tone setter. But after that, I mean, the Niners offense just couldn't do much of anything. I mean, the Seahawks defense was dominating the pass. They're dominating, stuffing the run, stuffing McCaffrey. I mean, McCaffrey and with George Kittle out, their backup tight end, was in the game. He was trying to make some plays, but I think he was even a little bit banged up. And yeah, I mean, Seattle's defense was just like next level. Their offense was very good too, but it was interesting because Sam Darnold didn't really have to do a lot of work. He had 124 yards, 12 for 17. Cooper Cup at 60 yards. Kenneth Walker had a huge game. He had 19 carries, 116 yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. So he was definitely kind of the force offensively. And again, it's like if you can run the ball, dominate the trenches, like run the ball, stop the run kind of thing, you can win football games. And the crazy part is, I mean, the Seattle Seahawks have more in them. I mean, they have a really good passing game too, with Darnold, with Cooper Kupp, Jackson Smith-Njigba, like guys like that who can also make plays. So the fact that they didn't really even need that and they dominated like that badly was just like, it was just like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just yeah, I mean, the Niners just didn't really have much of an answer for like just about anything. I mean, it was all Seahawks all the way. I mean, they were just so dominant on offense, on defense especially too, and like even in garbage time. I mean, San Francisco couldn't score, but it's just like, yeah, this was just like just complete domination. I think part of it was how injured the Niners were because they were dealing with injuries going into the Philly game on the defensive side too. On the offensive side, definitely got really hurt. But a lot of it also has to do with how good Seattle is, because I mean they were just like without even an explosive passing game, they were this dominant, and that just I don't know that I think that really says a lot about what team we're looking at on that side.
Oh, I mean, first of all, I think with the loss of Bo Nix and how badly they whooped the Niners, I think the
Yeah,
Seahawks are now the team to beat for
yeah,
anybody.
yeah,
First of all, and we have to acknowledge this: the Niners were banged up. Like, I mean,
yeah.
it was it
Heavily
was the
injured.
it was the equivalent of the hydrogen bomb versus the coughing baby,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because while the Niners were trotting out a lot of like they also had some off-season drama, if I'm not mistaken, but um they were trotting out a lot of these like you know backups and whatnot. George
yeah. Because
Kittle was
Ayuk I
hurt.
think wasn't there, and like I
Ayuk,
mean
yeah, Ayuk wasn't there.
he was injured, right? And
Debo still with the
no,
Niners?
he got traded to Washington.
Oh my god, poor
I
guy.
know. So it's
Anyway,
really like Jawan Jennings, who I've always really liked him, but he didn't really have,
yeah.
McCaffrey, he was battling an injury too. Jake Tonjes had kind of stepping up for George Kittle, who tore his ACL. So, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the Niners have always kind of been bit by the injury bug in these, maybe not always, but, like a couple years ago against Philly, like obviously Brock Purdy gets knocked. They're already down to their third string, and Brock Purdy gets knocked out. Their fourth string guy gets knocked out. Purdy comes in with, that was just a mess. Like I felt, obviously I wanted the Niners to beat the Eagles because from the Giants perspective, but seeing them not even have a chance was just like very emotionally like gut wrenching. In this game though, like I mean I don't know, the Seattle Seahawks were
This
just
game was
very
boring.
extremely,
This
yeah,
game
it
was
was
boring
this one
unless
was
you're a Seahawks.
boring. Yeah, this was boring. I mean, it was, yeah, I mean, it was hard to even watch because I mean they were just so dominant. But again, like just like kind of in that game, even though Purdy was healthy, like they were just so banged up. Like that doesn't help. But
It's
I
just one
don't
of
know. I
those
think
times
even
where
if
we go,
they,
tough to watch, and then
yeah, I think even if they were healthy, I don't think they would have won the game because I mean, like Seahawks were just so dominant. But a few weeks ago, these two teams played in Santa Clara, and the Niners, they still lost, but they lost 13-3. So that shows like the
hmm
difference between like, this and that, right? Like and probably part of that was also them being in Seattle, but it's just a completely different game. And I guess the funny part about all of this is that Niners team just beat Philly. And then they like walk into Seattle and like so it's just like what's going on with the Eagles, that like that's the team that they lose to. But I mean I guess more injuries I think made them decimated them even further because Kittle got injured in that game. I think McCaffrey was banged up, like a lot, even within the game, like more injuries happened. So it's just but yeah, I mean I think part of it was the Niners, the way they looked, part of it was the Seahawks and how they looked. And I don't know. I think they're probably gonna be the Super Bowl favorites now. I mean, like out of these four teams, I think they're probably like almost like I want to say like by far, like maybe not by far, but I think they're the best team in the field. I mean, Patriots look pretty good too, but nowhere near this good. Like I mean, this is something else. But speaking of the Patriots, against the Texans, this was played in the snow in Foxborough. This was kind of another defensive game. CJ Stroud really had a horrible game. He had 4
Oh,
interceptions. I
oh my
mean,
god,
yeah,
he looked awful.
He had like
Awful,
7
awful, awful.
turnovers in 2 playoff games now. It was just like really, really bad. I mean, he did not look good at all. Yeah. So the Texans again shut down in the divisional round. The run game largely also like shut down for Houston too. They just couldn't really get a lot going. Their defense kind of kept them in the game as long as possible. But when you have your quarterback throw 4 interceptions, like and the run game isn't going, like it's just not a lot you could do. And Drake May, I guess, continues to deliver. I guess in a way. I mean, even though he kind of had a
Yeah,
conservative game, but no,
yeah.
like I mean, kind
He
of
looked
sort of.
okay. He looked
Yeah,
okay.
he looked all right. He made some nice throws. He found Keyshawn Booty made a really nice one-handed catch that kind of gave them that separation. He hit
He
179
did what he
yards.
needed to do to win, and that's all you can
Yeah,
ask.
179
You
yards,
know?
3 touchdowns, and a pick. It was also a snowy day, which probably also didn't really help either offense, obviously. But yeah, he did what you need to do to to get the win. And the defense
Win.
came up with the
Yeah.
pick six as well for New England, so that definitely helped. But yeah, I mean, like we said, like they did what they did what they needed to do to win the game in terms of the Patriots. And the defense also played really well. I mean, this was a battle of like two of the top defenses, I think, in the NFL between Houston and New England. Both of them dominated the previous round, but I think in this game, the Patriots were able to shut down the Texans enough to really give their offense a good chance, and that's what allowed them to get over the hump. And I mean, Ramondre Stevenson, solid player. He had led the Patriots at 70 yards rushing. And Travion Henderson's also over there in the receiving game. Yeah, I mean, Demario Douglas had a nice touchdown. Stephon Diggs had a touchdown. Keyshawn Booty had a touchdown. He had 75 yards. So kind of like a joint effort from New England's guys, the receivers or running backs. And yeah, like you said, May's doing what he needs to do to get the win, but New England survives kind of a difficult game. I, mean, I don't know if it was difficult, but it was like against another respectable opponent and a tough weather game. So they're moving on to Denver now to play the Broncos, where they should have the decided advantage coming up.
Yeah. You talking about the Patriots having that advantage? Because
Yeah,
you kind of confused me here.
yeah, the
Okay. I
Patriots.
mean, see, I think that I just want to see more out of Drake May in the playoffs. We're gonna
Right.
say he did well enough to win the games that they could win. I just want to see more out of him. You know?
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, he's also still young, but like yeah, I mean, it's first playoff experience. But I mean, yeah, even in the first game, he had like what 17 for 29, 268, a touchdown, a pick, and that was a 16-3 win over Los Angeles. This one 20-16 win. So it's so far they've been playing ugly defensive football, but I have a feeling like I don't know. I have a feeling it might go that way again, just especially with Jarrett Stidham being in there and against the Patriots defense. I think they're going to make life a lot easier for the offensive side of the ball because the Denver Broncos have a good defense too, one of the top. But when you have like you're really that limited with Stidham and on the other side against a really good Patriots defense, so I'd probably give Bo Nix some problems too. Like I mean, you're making life easier for Drake May in the offense. So I mean, chances are he could kind of cruise with another type of game like this, with the help of the other side of the ball, I guess. And especially considering which quarterback you're going against. But yeah, so I mean, we'll see. I mean, I feel like the Patriots they should be able to win the game if they can manage the game. But I guess don't want to get too much ahead of myself because we have one more divisional game to recap, and this one was the best one of them all because it was the LA Rams and the Chicago Bears. For a while, this one kind of was feeling like it was like kind of boring. It was like 10-10 at halftime, just like not too much going on. But the Rams go up 17-10 late in the game, and it looked like they were gonna hold on. But then Caleb Williams, had some heroics in the last second, and they were able to get the victory. So they were not able to get the victory. They were able to push the game to overtime. But that throw by Caleb Williams was just the most ridiculous throw I think I've ever seen in all my years of watching football. The catch was pretty nice too in the end zone from Cole Kmet. But I mean, the throw. I mean, Williams is being chased by pass rushers. He's running backwards. He's throwing off his back foot, heaving it, and the receiver just happens to be in the area. I mean, I think he knew that, but to be able to throw while you're being chased like that off your back foot with enough power to get to the end zone. I mean, how many quarterbacks in the NFL can make that throw? Like maybe you maybe Mahomes and back in the day, and maybe Joe Burrow, like maybe like I don't know, maybe like Mahomes
Back in
or
the
Lamar
day. I like how we're
Jackson.
talking about prime Mahomes like it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I would say like maybe Mahomes could make that throw. Maybe Lamar Jackson could probably make that throw because he's a bit quicker. Caleb Williams is on like he can make throws that are like the best of the league, but the problem is he also threw 3 interceptions in this game, including one in overtime where I think DJ Moore just didn't run the route that he was supposed to run. But so yeah, I mean Caleb Williams is kind of like I don't know, you know what I mean? He's a gunslinger. Like he makes the most incredible throws, but he also throws kind of like the most boneheaded interception sometimes, and it's just like, you're kind of getting the whole show with him. But yeah. So I mean, I thought the Bears were going to be able to pull that out. For the Rams to be able to get the interception and go in and score the field goal. Obviously gut wrenching for Chicago. I feel like a lot of people are rooting for Chicago just because of how fun they are, how ahead of schedule they are, and Caleb Williams, how good they were playing too. I mean, they had, so I mean, I feel like they gained a lot of fans in this postseason, and nothing against the Rams, like I have no issues with them, but I wanted to see the Bears win. Obviously, for us, with Kalmanungai being on the team, he like hit
Yeah.
stick the guy. Like I mean, he played really, even though he kind of had a quiet game, he had his moments where he caught some passes out of the backfield. He had 36 receiving yards. He actually ran a nice route on one of them, and he also had 36 rushing yards. So it's an interesting and perfect split. DeAndre Swift has been going off for them too, so they have a good, a good backfield where they have kind of like your Thunder and your Lightning. Going on there. Colston Loveland's been playing really well for Chicago. DJ Moore, Roma Dunze. So they just have like weapons on, like all over the place really on their offense. And yeah, the defense is not so bad either, honestly. But yeah, I think LA was a better team. I think we need that coming in, but I think we felt that the Bears could make some magic happen. They almost did, but at the end of the day, the Rams getting the dub. Matt Stafford, I mean, he got sacked 4 times. He had, I guess, like a decent game, 258 yards. Kyron Williams had 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. Puka Nakua had 56 yards receiving. Which is I feel like one of his lower performances this season because he's been like absolutely mind blowing himself. So it
Yeah,
was it was like
as long as he can keep the off-field antics to a minimum, he's going to be a great player.
oh, he's really good. Oh yeah, like when he the thing he said about the refs and all that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah, he's also gotten some trouble for some other stuff.
oh
So
yeah, I think I've seen that too.
just keep the
Yeah,
off-field antics to a
right.
minimum and
I
have a great
agree.
career. But
Is
he really
he?
is a stellar
Oh,
player.
he's a stud. He's an absolute beast. I think he had the most receiving yards in the NFL this season. So I mean, it was just it's probably going to win Offensive Player of the Year. So, I mean, 17, 15 yards is just, or second, I guess, second most yards. And top, 129 receptions leads the league. Yeah, he's just a stud at wide receiver. Yeah, no, I mean, I think I think you're right. I mean, like, if he could just keep it going, but no, I mean, it's heartbreaking for the Bears. The Rams, they're kind of my sleeper team to kind of make a deep playoff run on this year because kind of seeing like how close they were to beating Philadelphia last year at the link. I mean, coming back, they nearly did it. They were one. They got the stop. They did everything except for get the final touchdown. And I was like, and then they got so much better over the offseason too. And I was just like, this team is going to be deadly. Like they have a chance to really like take it further than they did last year. And they have. So I mean, like they have now. They're in the championship game. Yeah, I mean, so I feel like last year they're just kind of getting started. Their defense is very good, one of the best in the league. Their offense, they have playmakers all over. They have Kyron
Matt
Williams, they have
Stafford,
Puka Nacua,
career
Matt Stafford.
renaissance.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's been delivering. So I guess the only problem for LA is that they're playing in Seattle next Sunday. So I guess with that being in mind, we could preview these two conference championships, for real this time. I know we kind of already did, but like I mean in a more detailed sense.
You know
Huh.
what though? Los Angeles going into Los Angeles going into Seattle kind of seems like, the knight in his shining armor taking a taking a trip to the dark castle surrounded by lava to go slay the dragon because
Right.
that
Yeah.
Seattle team is good.
They're
That
really
defense
good.
is nasty.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was seeing them like stuff McCaffrey on like a 4th and 1. I was like, no defense like does that. You know what I mean? It was just they were just not
Nope.
only winning blocks, but they were like all over in the
They were
backfield, getting
destroying blocks.
yeah, that's what Brady was saying on the broadcast. They weren't just winning blocks, they were destroying them, getting in the backfield, making life like literal hell for the Niners offense. And on their offense too, they can grind out a game by just running the ball. They have playmakers in Seattle as well. I mean, former Rams
But not,
receiver
not
Cooper
even
Kupp.
just that, defense, very good. Offense, very good.
Yeah.
Special teams, we saw very, very good. So there's not a
Oh,
true weak
true. Yeah,
point on this
the
team.
Rashid Shaheed, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just crazy to think that they won that game by that much without with the passing game kind of like barely having to do anything. Like it's just like because Kenneth Walker was just so dominant in this game. So yeah, and the defense was so dominant. But chances are in this game, I mean, it's not going to be obviously a complete walkover. The Rams are a good team, but you know what I mean. Like, I mean, yeah, I mean that's where it gets interesting. Like, the Rams are a good team, they're gonna push. But the Seahawks defense is just so dominant. And their offense is very good. It's hard to see Seattle not winning the game. How much they win it by is I think
I
gonna
think
be a
it's going
good
to be a good
question.
game. I don't expect the Seattle to
Yeah, I
just
agree.
completely run over the Rams, but I don't think the outcome is in doubt really
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, unless like LA has like a miraculous game, like because they were like in the mud with like the Panthers and the Bears, and like it's gonna be like a different challenge up there against that
Yeah.
defense, that offense. It's kind of like it almost feels like we're going from like again like Indiana, Oregon to like Miami, Indiana. Like can the Rams give Seattle that kind of a game?
Yeah.
Or even if they do, which Miami did, they still lost. But the question is, can they? And like, I don't know, maybe, but I don't know. It's possible, but I feel like the Seattle Seahawks are just too dominant. So I don't know, maybe not. I mean, I think it'll be close-ish, but I think Seattle probably pulls away in the second half. And maybe like a 10 to 14 point victory. I'm thinking like something at least a touchdown. I think Seattle wins by like at least maybe yeah I'd say like 10 to 14 by the time things are all said and done over there. But yeah, a battle of division rivals once again. I mean, Seahawks took down the Niners. Now they have the Rams. I mean, all these teams are very good, and these teams played two really good games in the regular season too. So I mean, the Rams won one. Seahawks won the other in overtime. These were actually very, very close. So I mean, there's a chance that the Rams really push them, but I don't know. I feel like the Seahawks have. I don't know. I feel like Seahawks have gotten like better since then. Like they were kind of shakier earlier in the season. This playoff run, I mean, this last game they were just absolutely dominant. So we'll see. I mean, there's a chance that this goes down to the wire. But I don't know. I feel like I've seen something else from the Seahawks that they've gotten even better than they were in the regular season, where
They
this
just have that dog
close.
venom, you know. They
Yeah,
like what everybody's going to go to that old adage of what wins championships. Defense wins championships, and that Seattle defense is nasty. I
yeah,
don't honestly. I think
exactly.
right
Yeah,
now they're the favorites to win the whole thing, not even
yeah,
just the favorites to
yeah.
beat Los Angeles. You know,
Yeah, because it's like their
maybe
defense is so good, and like it's just hard to see it going any like the offense. I think the Rams' offense might be as good, maybe even a little bit better, but the defensive side of the ball, I mean, the way that they're playing, they're just, I mean, you know what I mean. If the Rams even have twice as much success as the Niners did, like even 3 times, I mean, they're still like you know what I mean.
they
Like as long
still
as
lose by you know
like
10 points.
yeah, right? Like, even if they do, like, 3 times as good, which they probably will, like, the Seahawks, like, I mean, you know what I mean? They still probably only have to score 20 points to get a victory, and the way they are, they can, so it's just, I don't know. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I just there was an overtime game. There's been some close ones, but I feel like Seattle's turned the corner even more, where their defense is just even better than they were back then, and their
But
offense
also,
is
it's
too,
late in the
so
season. Teams are getting worn down, and Seattle has that depth on defense to prevent that. So,
yeah,
as the other teams are getting bumped and nicked and bruised
that's
up,
true.
you know,
Yeah, I don't know.
Seattle's
Just
just going to
yeah.
keep coming.
Like the Rams just like being in these dogfights with these other teams, and the Seahawks are just rolling. Like I don't know. I mean, I think the
And they
Rams,
got the
yeah,
week of rest too.
that's true. They're
They got the
fresher.
bye.
The Rams have been traveling like all over the place too. On top of that, Carolina, Chicago. Now they're back to the West Coast, Seattle. So they're playing their third game. Yeah, I mean, they're just gonna. That's true. I think that's another reason why the Seahawks. I mean, coming off that kind of performance, yeah. Even if the Rams do like 3 times as good as the Niners do, like I mean, I think Seattle can hold on. The
It could
way
even be the
the
time
way
zone
they're.
changes that messes them up. I mean, really, like if you think
That's
about it, they're
that's
going from three
true.
different time
Three
zones,
different time
from
zones.
Eastern to Central to Western. That's not an easy
Yeah,
change.
that's not easy either. I mean, that's true. So it's just, I think, yeah, like I said, I think the Rams can score a bit, but not nearly enough to the point where they could take down Seattle. And not only is the
I
rushing
agree.
attack good, but they have a good passing attack underneath that, which has yet to even be deployed this postseason. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just going to be too much. I think they have enough on the offensive side, and definitely way more than enough on the defensive side to take down San Francisco, or not San
Los
Francisco,
Angeles.
LA. Well, yeah, they already did San Francisco, but yeah, no, I mean, they have more than enough to take down the Rams. And like I said, even though these
Agreed.
regular season matchups are close, like I think the Seahawks defense has gotten so much better, and on offense, not only do they have a good rushing game, but they have good pass attack behind it. So I think they get the W and they go to the Super Bowl. And like you said, I think they're the best team left in the field. I mean, not only just in the NFC, but in the field. But over in the AFC, I mean, this game, I think, the Rams Seahawks game, I think could still be pretty good and it'll be entertaining because the Rams have a solid offense. Puka Nakua, I mean, they have Stafford,
I think it's going
Nakua,
to be entertaining. I just don't think
Williams.
it's going to be. I just don't think they're going to win. You
Yeah, I
know.
think I think they could stay in the fight, but I think the Seahawks are going to be able to take them down, especially how good their defense is. But yeah, on top of that, the run game and and
Yeah.
having Sam Darnold and Cooper Cup and Jigba. I mean, if they need to go to the pass game, they have it. And the other game though, like Patriots Broncos, like that. This one's like. I don't know. I mean, like, does Denver like have a chance? Like, I mean, like, I hate to like
I
just
think
like
Denver has a chance. I think Denver has a chance. I don't think it's a good
yeah.
chance, but I still think they have a chance. First
I
of
don't
all,
know. I mean,
like
it's just
like
like
I,
I
like I
don't know
said,
what we're
Drake May.
getting.
Okay, but not to discredit the Patriots' wins, right? Drake May has not looked good, and the Texans. He's looked serviceable. He's looked okay, but he
Right.
hasn't looked good. You know, like um, in comparison, the Texans blew themselves up by committing what 5 turnovers. You know,
True.
um, anybody should be able
Mhm.
to win easily when the other team commits 5 turnovers. I don't care what team you are.
Yeah.
If they throw 4 picks and then have a fumble on top of it or whatever it was, you should be able to win easy. There's no excuse for not winning easy, actually. You
Yeah.
know. Um, so while I don't think that the Patriots are as good as they're quite given credit for, they're obviously still should be the favorites over the Broncos because we don't know what Jarrett Stidham is going to look like. Um,
Yeah.
but
That's
I
I don't
think
know.
the AFC, the two, either way, I just like the champions of the AFC just do not look good.
Yeah.
Like
This doesn't look neither of these teams look as good as either the Rams or the Seahawks in my
no, I
opinion.
don't think so either. I mean,
Yeah.
I would argue that the Broncos do if they had Bo Nix, but
Yeah.
they don't have
Yeah.
Nix,
I
so
agree.
you
Yeah,
know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the Patriots are dead meat. I mean, the Broncos are dead. I mean, I think they have a chance because they have a good defense. They have a good run game. Like, as long as Stidham can like play a conservative game, I think they could be in it. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's just gonna be hard. Like with Drake May, like in the Patriots, because they also have a very good defense. They also have a good run game, and they'll have a decided edge at quarterback. And if the Broncos offense is gonna be forced not to take chances and things like that, that's just going to play right out of their hands. And I think that's like that's I mean, yeah, Drake May hasn't been asked to do a whole lot. He probably won't be asked to do a whole lot in this game either. I mean, I think the defense can capitalize on a quarterback like Stidham going in cold. And I don't know, you know what I mean? The spread's 4.5 in New England's favor. I mean, I think they win by more. I don't want to count out Denver completely, but I just don't. I feel like even if Knicks was healthy, the Patriots would still probably like find a way to pull out the win. But I think Denver would have a real chance at getting it. Actually, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe Denver in that case would have won, but that would be like a true 50-50. But now it's just like you know what I mean. It's tilted so much in New England's favor, where it's like almost hard to see like a path for the Broncos to
No, see,
pull out.
I don't know if I necessarily agree there. I think that if Bo Nix was healthy, that Denver would be the favorite. You know, that's
I
my
think they would
thinking.
be I think they would be the favorite too. I think New England would have a chance, but yeah, I think you're right. I think New England. I think Denver would be the favorite to beat the Patriots if Bo Nix was healthy because he's a dynamic quarterback playmaker. Like all those, like we saw what he did against Buffalo, but I mean, at this point though, like it's just like, yeah, I don't see it like a real path for like the Broncos to win this game, like unless like I guess their defense is so dominant. Stidham's a lot better than expected, and they kind of game plan like perfectly for him, and the kind of what I mean. Like everything's gonna have to go right. Like their defense gonna have to be dominant, or Stidham's gonna have to be really really good, and probably both actually is what's going to need to happen. And I don't know, but you know what I mean. I feel like the Patriots now have kind of a decided advantage where as long as their defense is dominant and they can kind of capitalize on short fields and things like that, like they should have no problem getting this victory. It just really sucks because I think we could have had a really good AFC championship game between New England and Denver, if it was Knicks versus May, but obviously now Knicks, obviously is next. So I mean, like we won't get to see him. Unfortunately, I just thought of that, but like
God, that was so
unfortunately,
bad.
yeah, it
That
was
was
horrible. But
so
like
bad. That was
with the
so
tornado,
so bad.
it just really sucks because I mean, obviously, Denver's Buffalo's out, Denver's out. I mean, like I don't know, like it's hard to see a chance for Denver to win the game. I mean, it's possible if they play really good on defense, like I said, and Stidham's comes out like really guns blazing, like he's a lot better than people expect. But I mean, this guy hasn't played like I mean in like 2 years, and like he's not really been that great when he's played. So you know what I mean. I don't
When
know,
he
but
did play.
we'll see. Yeah, I mean, like yeah, I mean, he hasn't really played or he hasn't started since the 2023 season, and we'll see though. I mean, there's like I said, there's a chance if he plays really well and the Broncos, continue their ground attack and their defense, I think they can get the dub. At least they'll have a chance to, because then Drake May hasn't exactly lit it up. But if Stidham just doesn't look good, and Drake May and the Patriots do, then which is what I'm expecting, then Patriots should have no problem. So I would take the Patriots. It's going to be hard for me to see anything else. I guess now that the question really is again like can Denver really hang in this game, make it a game, make it interesting, or is it just going to be a walkover? So I don't know. It depends on how Stidham is and how well that Denver defense can hold up. Because they are very good, but so is New England. So yeah, I mean, if they can, there's a chance. I would say, but I don't really believe in Jarrett Stidham. I think this one's over. But yeah, it depends. It depends on whether they can hang in there and make it a game, and that's kind of what we said about Rams Seahawks too, I guess. But in for different reasons, we kind of said that for LA because the Seattle Seahawks are just so dominant, even with the Rams being fully healthy and fully like it's still gonna be hard to see. But for Denver and New England, like I don't know, man, it just doesn't really look good. It's kind of sad to say. Like I don't think it's necessarily gonna be a blowout, but I don't know. It's just gonna be hard for me to see the Broncos, being able to pull it out with a quarterback who really hasn't played meaningful snaps in that long.
I still think the Broncos have a chance to win. I think they probably have a better chance than what you're giving them. I still would put to the Patriots as the heavy favorites, but let's be real, neither of these teams are winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It depends. I guess it depends on what we're getting out of Stidham. Because I think you're right. I mean, I don't think New England's lighting people up either. But it just, I don't know, it just shifts like the whole game plan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I just don't know what we're gonna get. But like, chances are maybe I'm wrong. But The thing is, even if
There's
I'm wrong,
also the element of you don't know what Stidham is going to do.
that's true.
You
Like, what if
know,
he surprises everyone and starts like chucking the ball
like
downfield?
nobody knew what Nick Foles was going to do. Nobody knew what Brock Purdy was going to do. You know,
That's
like
true.
you don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
You have to
yeah.
always
I think
account.
the defense is gonna have to. That's true. It's just like, yeah. I was reading like what Von Miller was saying. Like, yeah. I mean, the defense is gonna have to step up massively, and then Stidham's gonna have to take advantage of the chances that he's given, and if they could do that, they can win it. So we'll see about that. Yeah, we'll see about that. I don't think it's over just because it's a backup quarterback, but I don't know. It really depends on like what we're getting out of Stidham. I guess that's the $1 million question here. But yeah, I think you're right though. I mean, I think neither of these teams are as good as who's coming out of the NFC. Which is likely Seattle. I don't think either of these AFC teams are as good as the Rams or Seahawks, to be completely honest with you. And so yeah, I mean, if we're looking, I guess just to end off this episode, if we're really looking ahead to a Seahawks Patriots Super Bowl, this would be a rematch of Super Bowl 49, where Butler intercepted Russell Wilson at the goal line.
And the pass is intercepted at the goal line.
Yeah.
Well, and then the famous
Oh yeah, by Marshawn Lynch on the sideline.
Richard Sherman.
Oh yeah, Richard Sherman, right? Yeah.
But
Oh no, they yeah. Everyone was like, well, they should have just handed it to Marshawn Lynch, and he could easily pick
did
up
you
the
hear that
yard.
Marshawn Lynch laughed at Pete Carroll after that happened?
Really?
Like he
Oh,
went to Pete Carroll and like laughed in his face, you
damn,
know.
that's cool. Yeah.
But
No, what a brutal way to end the Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, that was quite insane, honestly. But yeah, no, if we get a rematch of that, which I think is what's probably gonna happen, Patriots Seahawks, then I mean, yeah, I think the Patriots are a good team again, but I think the Seahawks are
you're not rooting for a Jarrett Stidham. What's it called? Jarrett Stidham.
Matt Stafford Super Bowl.
Not Matt Stafford. Sam Darnold Super Bowl.
Oh, see, that would be fire, honestly, like the battle of the backup.
Jarrett Stidham, Sam Darnold Super Bowl.
Yeah, no,
What
I'm
a
just looking at
wild world.
what's most likely. Where I'm thinking like Patriots are probably gonna win. Seahawks are probably gonna win too. So yeah, I mean like it would be interesting. I mean, I think again, I think the Seahawks are just like too good this year. I think they're just gonna demolish anyone in their path. And I don't think the Patriots, like Drake May's, like it's like I don't think they're quite at that level. They're a good team, but they're not like this type of good team. Like Seahawks have playmakers all over the place. They're explosive. They have a good run game. Their defense is like absolute menace. Patriots are kind of just like a good team, but they don't really have like that next gear, I would say. So I think that would put them ahead. If they could beat the LA Rams, then they could beat the Patriots. They could definitely beat the Broncos in their current state as well. But yeah. We'll see, but I mean, you know what I mean. Like I'm just not too enthused by Denver. I think they could make it a game, maybe, but I don't think they could get a win. It depends on how their defense is and how Stidham is, and I think Seahawks are gonna like same thing. I think they're too dominant for. Even though the Rams are a good team, I think they win. So I think we're looking ahead at Patriots Seahawks, and that would be a good Super Bowl for all the storylines and for the rematch and all that kind of good stuff as well.
Yeah, well, we definitely love as many storylines as we can get in a Super Bowl, especially like that.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess that's pretty much, sums up all the football. Obviously, Indiana winning national championship was huge. These divisional games were pretty fun, except for, I guess, the Seahawks, Niners game, which was not very fun at all. Yeah, it was very, like, very boring. Yeah, kind of like a sleeper, or game to sleep through, I guess. But these conference championships, they have a chance to be pretty good. It feels like a throwback
You
with
either have a
Patriots
chance to be really good or
or really
absolutely
bad.
terrible.
Yeah, that's kind of what the problem is. But yeah, you're right. It feels like we're back in 2016 again with these Seahawks being this good. I mean, the
All we're
Patriots and
missing is the
Broncos.
Packers. All we're missing is the Packers.
Yeah, Patriots Broncos. I think they met in the AFC Championship game like 10 years ago, and when Denver won, they've always been among the top two teams in the AFC with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. So even though these teams look very different, for all time's sake, it's just going to be nice to see the AFC Championship and these two teams playing, and it'll be snowing around here too.
What if we, instead of that, we called it back to the 2014 AFC Championship where the Colts were playing the Patriots?
Yeah. Not this year, I guess, but I don't know. It's always been
I don't
like
know about
New
any year
England.
anytime soon
Yeah,
either.
it's always been New England and Denver, and like those sometimes Pittsburgh. Like those have always been like the team. So it'll be really nice to see, even though it's Jarrett Stidham and not Bo Nix. It'll be nice to see that matchup
Sometimes
for all
my team
time's
was
sake.
in it too. Come on.
Yeah, you're right. And then the Rams, they won the Super Bowl in 2020. So yeah, but I mean, three of these teams used to be good about 10 years ago, and it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting. And yeah, I mean, we'll have the recap episode, I guess, following the games next week. Looking ahead to the Super Bowl, recapping the conference championships, and I guess we'll have to see what we do, in the long lead up to Super Bowl 60, right? So I mean, maybe
Yeah.
we can have a separate episode just to preview the Super Bowl or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. But in the meantime,
Maybe we even slip into some other content. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
some NBA Stanley Cup. Yeah, I mean the Nets got blown out by over 50 points last night against the
By the
Knicks.
Knicks of all teams.
Uh,
That's why I put on this hat and not my Nets
uh,
hat over
fair
there.
enough. Fair enough.
Because this team's
Yeah,
winning.
definitely we can get into some hockey, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll try to spread out the Super Bowl episodes over 2 weeks. I would like to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the meantime,
What I'm saying is you can't do just Super Bowl preview for 2 weeks.
that's true. Yeah, yeah. Next week we'll probably do like all football recap and preview, and then the week before Super Bowl we could mix it up with some hockey, some basketball content, all that good stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, in the meantime, this has been another episode of Sports Vibe, 107 in the books, big football episode, and yeah, we'll see you. I guess we'll see you next time, and remember that the vibes are always high on Sports Vibe.
Have a good day, guys.